He would see them out in battle. But also he would meet them socially. Let me give you a couple real quick stats here. Did you know that one of the first women that ever had her works published was a black woman? Her name was Phyllis Wheatley. She was bought as a slave at the age of about 5 years old. In the matter of a couple of months, she can speak the American language. In the matter of a couple of years, she can read and write Latin and Greek. Anybody here can read Latin and Greek? Not only that, she could speak several other languages as well. Not only that, do you hear that I said one of the first women? Although she's a black woman, do you realize that for any woman to have her work published, period, is quite a feat? This woman, in all counts, as far as I'm concerned, this woman's a genius. Did you know that in Philadelphia, after the war, one of the richest men in Philadelphia would be a black man? Did you know that? His name would be James Forten. Did you read about James? You want me to tell you about the story of James? Would you like that? Hold on for a second. What is that gentleman's name? Master Lee. Yes. Would you mind assisting me? Sure. Come here. An obstacle course. Sir, it's my pleasure to get acquainted. I'd like to introduce to you James Forten. How old are you? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Because when James Forten was your age, 14 years old, he went to join the Navy. What a joke. We didn't have a Navy. We had, how can I put this in polite company? Pirates. But we had an agreement with these pirates. As long as they were attacking the British and not attacking us, that was fine. We called them by another name that didn't sound so bad. We called them privateers. So, Mr. Forten here is a privateer. The first time your ship went out, you came across one British ship, right? And who won? You don't remember that battle? Surely you remember. It was one of the best battles that you ever won. You did win. Of course you did. You won. Your ship won. You took that ship into tow. You took your ship back into harbor. You repaired it. You split up the amount of money, the booty that you got from that ship, and you and your crew went out again. Next time, you ran across how many ships? 3. Now, who did you think won? And you were taken prisoner. How did you feel about being prisoner on board of the British ship? Yeah. You were a little bit afraid that they were going to sell you as a slave down in the Caribbean islands to the to the sugarcane plantations, weren't you? Yeah. But, you know, you're a particularly bright young lad. And very amiable. People like you. In fact, you made friends with the son of the captain. He was a cabin boy himself. You used to play marbles with him, didn't you? Did you hear what I just said to you? He's playing marbles on a ship with the son of the captain. Obviously, you don't quite grasp. He's playing marbles on a ship. Do you think it's real easy to play marbles on a ship? What do you think is going to happen to those marbles? Yeah, they're going to roll around. So, how do you do it? How do you play marbles on a ship?
You know?
No, he did.
Don't you sail a ship while you're
Well, even if the ship's sitting in there, it's still rocking around in the water. I told you, this gentleman is clever.
Put on the anchor.
It's still going to rock. You close.
Build a barrier.
Not quite. Go ahead, one more shot.
A table.
It's still going to roll to the end of the table, even if you got barriers around it. During the course of a battle, a gentleman might get wounded, and he'd bleed on the deck, and that deck becomes very what? Slippery. Well, what you would do is you run over to a barrel, you open it up, there might be sand in it, you take the sand out, then you throw it across the deck, and now you can walk on that deck without slipping as much. Or, you could take some sand, sprinkle a layer of it on the deck, and roll your marbles around it. You understand? I told you he was clever. I told you he was very clever. Well, one day, the captain came up to you. Mr. Forten. My son seems to have taken quite a liking to you. But I've heard some distressing reports about your activities on my ship. I've heard you've been talking to the rest of the crew about how you believe America ought to be free. How we shouldn't have to follow the king's orders. Do I understand that to be correct? Well, at least you're no liar, lad. You understand that this is treason. Do you know what we do to treasonous people? You see that yard arm? That's that long pole that the ships hang their sails from. You see that yard arm? We hang traitors on the yard arm. Do you want to be hung? Nor do I. I understand you want your freedom. Am I correct?
Yes.
I might be able to arrange that. But this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to swear loyalty to the king. You're going to have to swear loyalty to His Majesty. You're going to have to promise that you will obey all of the laws, all of the orders of the King of England. Now, you and I know what that implies, don't we? But I don't know if these people really understand the implications of this. Should I tell them? It means, number one, he's going to have to turn his back on his country. Number two, he's going to have to turn his back on what he believes deep down inside of his heart about right and wrong. Number three, he's going to have to betray his own parents, his friends. Are you willing to betray your parents, sir? I thought you was that you were of that ilk. But before you make your decision way too hastily, sir, you need to consider some things. Sir, if you don't take up my kind offer, I am going to send you to the prison ship up in New York, New Jersey. No fouler hole of death exists. Let me describe the ship to you. Imagine, this is the deck of the ship. All of you are chained down below. You want to go to the privy? You want to relieve yourself? You go where you are as you are. You understand? Ooh. Can you imagine the filth of the ship? The stench. Can you imagine the bugs, the rats, the diseases that follow them? Typhoid, cholera, yellow fever, smallpox, all dreadful diseases. And deadly as well. You're going to be fed foul water, rotting food, food that after you pick the maggots out of, you would eat. And you will eat it because you want to live. You've got a hard decision to make, don't you? What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose your freedom, but at the cost train your own family, or are you going to choose the ship?
Oh.
Sir, I would be proud to count myself as one of your friends then. That's what Forten chose. He chose the ship over his own freedom. That's an amazing thing. And true to his word, that captain sent him to that ship. Now, I want you to know what type of person Forten is. On board that ship, it was a practice that if they caught an American officer, they would exchange him for a British officer. Well, that happened. But this officer brought with him a trunk. A trunk about, Forten had an idea. What do you think that idea was?
Hide it.
Yes, hide in this trunk and get off this accursed ship. But unfortunately, there was a lad that was on board that ship that was in worse shape than you. What do you suppose Forten did? Yes.
Let him go in there and get out.
Yes. He gave up his opportunity to escape to allow that other lad to live. Not only that, he helped carry that trunk down to make sure that lad did indeed escape. As I said, I don't know about you, but this is the type of friend I would want. Well, eventually you were free. You walked down from New York down to Philadelphia. You opened up a ship sail making business. And because of the quality of your work, your fine reputation, you end up becoming one of the richest men in Philadelphia. Did you hear me? A black man is one of the richest men in Philadelphia at this time. James.